each other. In fact, I've been introduced to you, and in the course of the classes, we can have brief introductions of all the learners also. Welcome to the Vidya Bharati MBA program. As I said, my name is Dr. Sona Nair, and I would be your counselor for MMPC001, which is Management Functions and Organizational Processes. Before we go ahead with the subject, the syllabus, and the rest of the, would you have any observations to share, or any observation that you like to share with me? I, on my part, would have some expectations. I would like, when I'm presenting, I would like you to take screenshots. We would have separate sessions for the queries at the beginning of the session and towards the end of the session. So we'll have ample time for that. So in case you have any queries, if you have any questions, any observations, you can jot them down. And then when we have the time to discuss, we'll discuss those questions and queries. And I would like you to be very interactive and, as expected, also go through the study material, because then you might have more queries and we'll be able to have better discussions. Is that okay with all of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would also request you to, in case there's, because this is the first time I'm taking classes for, for people of the African countries. So there would be a problem with my accent possibly. So in that case, I would request you to please, text me, or you can unmute your mics and give me a feedback on that, so that I'd be able to, modify the problem. We'll be able to sort out the problem. So shall we start with the classes? Shall we start with the counseling?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Kindly give me a minute. I'm having some issues. I'm switching on my mic just to ensure, just to find out if the presentation is going on, right? Give me a second and I would, as soon as the presentation comes on, please confirm. Can you see the screen now, learners?
No, we are.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
see.
it's visible now.
Can see.
You can see?
Yes, we can see. Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, that's good enough. Right. So I think you must be already aware of the syllabus of MMPC001, but let me give you a brief overview of what we are going to cover in this particular counseling session, so that people who have joined in late maybe, and maybe if people who haven't attended the earlier counseling sessions would be updated on that. So as the other subjects are concerned, we have 4 blocks. Block 1 talks about introduction to management. Block 2 talks about the managerial processes. Block 3 again continues with the managerial processes, and block 4 is organizational processes, which is overall the syllabus, overall the content of this subject talks about the management, what are the functions of management, the different functions of management in detail, and then how these functions of management are used in organizations. Okay? Right. So coming straight to Unit 1, which is the overview of the subject of management. Here, what we are going to do is, after completion of this unit, you should be in a position to define what management is, define what is the purpose of management, what is the nature and the features and characteristics of management. You should be in a position to distinguish between two similar terms, which is administration and management, and also understand the influence of management on the organization, and definitely the challenges that management is going to face or is facing at the moment. Okay, so how many of you have actually gone through this subject earlier and would be in a position to tell me exactly, give me a definition of management of your own? No one? Don't want to?
To the best of my knowledge, management has to do with getting things done through people.
I think you're
The human resource.
okay. Am I clear? Is my voice clear? Is my accent okay with you? With you all?
Yes, ma'am.
You are clear, ma'am.
Okay. So let's get down to the point rather than having queries and observations at the moment. We will have them at the end of the session. Now, the field of management study is fairly recent. There are certain points which I'm going to cover in the counseling. Those are also visible on the screen so that you're able to take screenshots and ask me questions later on. So the field of management, as I said, is fairly recent, though we can always see evidence of management practices in different historical monuments that have been built, various events that have happened in the history of humankind, because a lot of monuments have been built, a lot of wars have been fought, a lot of activities have happened, wherein a lot of people have worked together to achieve certain things. So we do see evidences of management practices from earlier times. But if we want to, for example, if we want to define it, we have to come down to specific definitions. And a very crude definition of management could be, from my side, it is whenever individuals try to accomplish a task, any task, achieve an objective, or fulfill a desire by using whatever means are available at their disposal. And what do you mean by means? It could be time, space, objects, other people, etc., whatever you need to accomplish your objectives. It can be, and when you use those means and achieve your objectives, the whole process can be termed as management. But since we are students of a professional course, our discussions will focus primarily on the practice of management in a professional setting or in organizations. So if you look at the books, if you look at the history of management, you'll come across a number of definitions ranging from a single aspect of management to more comprehensive ones that have been proposed by various authors. We will look at some of these definitions. Okay. One definition which is very commonly used by people is Mary Parker's definition, which is art of getting things done through the efforts of others. So when you channelize the efforts of others and get things done, according to Mary Parker, that is management. Another definition by Harold Coons O'Donnell, who have a very good book on the same subject, is that management is the process of getting things done through the organized efforts of others. Again, when you organize the efforts of other people and you get something done, that is management. Similarly, there have been a number of definitions. You can go through a number of definitions from various books which focus on some aspects of management or different and look at these look at management from different perspectives. But since management itself is of a very dynamic nature and it is complex also. Why complex and why dynamic? Because management is a concept which deals with people, and we can safely say that people are very complex. People cannot be predicted. People have a whole lot of factors which influence them. So when you're talking of a concept of managing people, it becomes very difficult to, understand what we are talking about. So therefore, there is, no definitions which have been proposed are universally accepted. But there are some modern definitions which we would find useful, and we would focus on those definitions. One definition is management is the coordination and optimum utilization of all resources through the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling in order to attain stated objectives. You can read it again. Management is the coordination and optimum utilization of all resources through the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling in order to attain stated objectives. I am emphasizing certain words because I want you to pay attention to them. The next definition is management is the process of getting things done with the aim of achieving goals effectively and efficiency. And with efficiency, there's a grammatical error there. And I would add to it, can we also talk about ethics? Can we also say that management is the process of getting things done with the aim of achieving goals effectively, with efficiency, and ethically? Yes, that can be added. Right? Now, in these two definitions, there are certain words which are important, which help us understand the concept of management. Firstly, the definitions say that it is a process, right? Then I will come to the meaning of this later on. Definitions tell us that management is a process. We also come to know that when we're talking of effectiveness, there is management. When we're talking of efficiency, there is management. Management also deals with optimum utilization of resources. And obviously, management is concerned about achievement of organizational goals. Now, my question is, are we aware of the meanings of these terms? Can any one of you, would any one of you want to take up any one term and tell me what exactly it means? You are able to hear me?
Excuse me, madam, can you increase your Zoom size? Oh,
Okay,
small.
just a moment. It's just gone back. With the PPT, dear learner, it's a little difficult. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. I'll learn it for tomorrow. You're not able to see now? I think we'll go to the next page. There we can possibly have a different font size. Okay, so I'm moving from here. Let us look at these terms in detail. What exactly do we mean by all these terms? Okay. So when we talk of process, we are talking of the keywords, we are talking of the basic terms which have been used in the definition of management. One, process. Management is not just one activity, but a series of actions which are interdependent on each other. Okay, so when you're talking of managing something, that means that you are doing a number of activities, a number of things which are actually connected and interdependent. You cannot do one activity, one action, and think that yes, your purpose is resolved and it's achieved. No. So when we're talking of managing a particular thing, there is a particular whole process with various activities involved. Second word, which is very important, is when we talk of management, we are talking of effectiveness. Now, what do you mean by effectiveness? Effectiveness is completion of work or achievement of a desired or stated targets or goals within a stipulated time frame or period. So when are you effective? You are effective, or anyone is effective, or any process is effective only when the work is completed, whatever work has been assigned is completed, or whatever target has been given to them has been completed within the stipulated time frame. Then we can call it effectiveness. Another important word is efficiency. What do you mean by efficiency? Efficiency is, since we said that we are using resources to manage certain things, we are using resources to achieve our objectives. When we are utilizing our resources optimally with minimum wastage, then it is termed as efficiency. Now, what is the meaning of optimum? Optimum is in between maximum and minimum. When you are using a particular resource, for example, a machinery, if a machinery is used only for 4 hours in a day and it is lying idle for the rest of the 20 hours, it is the minimum usage. If a particular machinery is used for 22 hours in a day and is just sitting idle for 2 hours, there would be a lot of detriment to the quality of the machine. The machine would need more repairs. So any resource, minimum usage, if you are using it minimally, then you are actually wasting the resource because it is sitting idle. Similar with people, if you don't allocate tasks to people, if you keep them free, they will do other things, they would waste time, they would not use it productively. So optimum utilization means that level of utilization where the resource is not exhausted, but you are using it to the maximum. Okay. Again, achievement of organizational goals. All organizations are formed to fulfill some purpose. And obviously, the people involved, the managers, whoever is in the organization, they need to achieve the organizational goals. Okay. So the definition of management basically talks of all these things. The concept of management is actually concerned about all these things. If all these things are there, then we can safely say that whatever's happening is actually being managed. Okay? Now, since we are looking at what is management and we are trying to understand what is management, we also need to look at the nature of management. What exactly do people think about it? So there is an ongoing debate, has been an ongoing debate for a long, long time, saying that whether management is a science or an art. If you've gone through the study material, you must have seen that. Reason being, because it is a modern concept. It is a body of knowledge in the sense that a lot of information is being recorded, a lot of information is being accumulated in the field of management. So we need to understand whether it is a science or whether it is an art. Now, what is a science? Science could be biosciences, mathematical sciences, physics, chemistry. All these are sciences, and these are pure sciences, right? Now, what is science? Science is a systematic and organized body of knowledge, systematic and organized body of knowledge, which is based on logically observed findings, facts, and events. That means that if you measure the distance between the Earth and the Moon, if you've measured it 200 years from now using some methodology, and if you measure it now using some methodology, if it's gives us the same figure, that is because some science is involved there. These things are can be verified. So that is the next sentence, which says it includes exact principles which can be verified. Or if you look at the gravitational pull in Nigeria, it is going to be the same as the gravitational pull here in India. Why? Because it is based on some systematic calculations. Got it? It can also have a cause and effect relationship. So anything to be termed as science has to be systematic and has to be verifiable, and repeated readings or repeated observations will be the same every time you do it. Okay, so if science is that, is management a science? Does management have all these features? Let's look at them. So, features of science and management. Now, systematic body of knowledge. Does management have a systematic body of knowledge? Yes. Why? Because for the last 200 years, various authors, various researchers, various organizations have been building theories which are tried and tested in various scenarios and circumstances. So, management has a systematic body of knowledge. Now you can tick there. Is it present? I did not purposefully put the tick or the presence there, because I wanted you to actually evaluate. Maybe if you don't remember it tomorrow, you can ask me and we can put this down there. Okay. Now, second,
Ma'am, one
does
question, please.
management have Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go
ma'am.
ahead.
What on your display? So it's just the first sheet of your slide. Is the slide okay?
Okay, yes.
So it only shows page 1, yeah?
Are you? No, this is not page 1. This is what we'll do is, we would have some kind of a mechanism with the IGNU. They would be in a position to, I suppose, share this with you later on. We can do that. Not an issue at all. So you'll have the content later on. Or I
Yeah.
will do that. We'll come to that. Okay. For now, if you have a query of what is visible on your screen, please ask, and I think we should be able to.
Yeah, it's only
Or you
showing
can take a
the
screen.
introductory part. That's it.
What are you able to read? Please tell me.
It's only the page 1 of your slide. MMPC001 block 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh. But
The syllabus.
what about the others? What about the others?
Mom is same. It's same. They all see it same.
Okay, it's not going ahead. Hold on. Oh, you should have. Okay, right. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Let me just find out what's happening here. I'm really sorry. But then it's moving in my screen and it's not moving in yours. How is that possible? Now, are you able to see the second page?
No, still the same, ma'am.
Okay, just hold on. Then let me just resolve this issue first. I'm really sorry. I think I lost the connection. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, I think
The
I won't go
screen, the
for
screen, yes, we can see, ma'am. But it's
I
the
think
same thing as previously.
yeah, yeah, please. What I'll do is, like, I'm not running the presentation. I'm going to, use it within the PowerPoint thing. Just tell me if you can, you're able to see the second screen. Uh,
Yeah,
now, did it change?
but it changed it. I think it's still the same. Yeah, now it's okay.
Now it's
Okay,
okay?
and the size is even the
Yes,
size it's okay.
it's okay now.
I think if I meddle with it too much, then I think I'll lose this also. So I think please bear with me today. Tomorrow I'll get some technical help on this, and I would
Mhm.
forward the slide to the place where we were actually discussing. Okay.
Right.
So Unit 1 overview
Okay.
is, it's already there in your study material, not an issue at all. Let's go ahead. We talked of management. We said that there are a number of definitions. It's a fairly recent science, and though we've been using management for an n number of years, since time immemorial, we are only now getting to actually define it properly and understand the whole concept. Okay, I think this was clear. Then we looked at some definitions, and we said that if you're talking of you're able to see this file as far as some definitions of management is visible.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
it is, ma'am.
okay, good. So the point is, we looked at some definitions, and then we picked up certain keywords from there, and we were trying to define those keywords. Okay, let's go ahead. So we said that this was where we were actually focusing on. We said that management is a process. We also said that management is concerned about effectiveness, in the sense that we are more focused on achievement of desired results rather than anything else. We also said that management is concerned about efficiency also, where we would like to utilize all our resources, whatever is available at our disposal, optimally. We would not make minimal usage, we will not make maximum usage, because then it will cost us in some way. So we will go ahead and we'll utilize our resources in an optimum manner. That is management. Okay. Then obviously achievement of organizational goals are the foremost thing that everyone in the organization should be taking care of, right? Okay. Then we did come to nature of management. I think we will run through here also. We said that there's an ongoing discussion. It has been there for a long time, saying that whether management is a science or an art. And we said that how do you define science? Science is defined when there is a systematic body of knowledge, and whatever is the final conclusion is based on logically observed, verified facts and events. And when we are talking of a science, science replicates itself. If we talk of something happening, some theory being true 10 years from now, 10 years back in history, it will stand true today itself. So E is equal to MC square was there, has been there for the last 100 years. Okay, so that is science. And we said that what do we think about management? Is management a science? We were trying to define that. So we said that systematic body of knowledge, yes, management has a systematic body of knowledge, because for the last 200 years, we've been building theories, we've been making observations, and we have been teaching and discussing and researching on what all theories, what all principles stand, verified, and they are, applicable even now, and would be applicable in the future also. So we do have a systematic body of knowledge. Is management based on scientific principles which are derived on the basis of logical and scientific observations, in the sense that since science, as I said, any theory in science is going to, replicate itself, and we can verify and we can repeat those observations later on. But does that happen in management? What do you think? No, it does not. Why? Because you might apply a principle and get success with one person one day, but same principle or same technique or same tool, if you use for someone who's more sensitive, or someone who's from another kind of attitude, you might not be able to actually get the desired results. So as far as logical and scientific observation, no, I mean, like, when you're talking of objective evaluation, it's the same thing. So when you're talking about objective evaluation, that is not possible. Why? Because you are dealing with people over here. Managers are also people, and the people with whom they are working, they are also people. So the point is, people can never be very objective. People have emotions, people have feelings, people have attitudes, people have their own learnings, people have their backgrounds. So objective evaluation is not possible, because we don't have any tools. We don't have a weighing machine to identify whether one person is more suited to a job or no. Okay, so that is not there in management. Is the study of management, or the body of knowledge in management, based on repeated experiments? Yes, it is present, because when we come to the theories, when we look at the evolution of management, we will possibly come to this point. We will come back to this point and understand this point, that we have made certain observations, and on the basis of those observations, we have proposed certain theories, and we have proposed certain solutions for organizational problems. Are the concepts of management universally valid? No, they are not valid. Like I said, it may depend from country to country, it may depend from culture to culture. There some things which is viewed in a particular manner in a particular community may not be viewed in that manner in another community or in other place. So two things of science are present in management, and two things are not present in management. Okay, right. So what is art then? There's a question that whether is management an art, and what is an art? Let us first define art. Art is a systematic body of knowledge which requires skill, creativity, and practice to get perfection. There is a grammatical mistake there also. So anything where your skill, your creativity is involved, and you need to actually practice and practice to get perfection, that is an art. You talk of painting, you talk of acting, you talk of any art form. There is definitely a body of knowledge, but then if you want to master it, you will have to really practice to get perfection, and you might also need talent. We cannot, just everyone cannot go and write poetry, or for that matter paint, right? So that is art. And is management an art? Let's compare. Does management have a systematic body of knowledge? We said yes, management has a systematic body of knowledge. Does management need personalized application? Like we said, you need to be creative, and you need to be, to bring out your skill, you have to practice, and you have to be really thinking about it. Do you need some such abilities in management? Yes, definitely. Because even if you learn theories, even if you are educated in that particular field, you may not be successful. You might need to develop certain skills. You might, for certain situations, you might have to change what you've learned. You might have to apply it in a different way. You have to be creative to be managing people. So personalized application, definitely. Is it based on practice and creativity? Definitely, it is based on practice and creativity. So what exactly is management then? Is it a science or is it an art? So management is both a science and an art, because it does have inbuilt theories. It does have a body of knowledge which is being built. It's still evolving. But even if you learn those theories, learn those principles of management, and you think that you will be able to do well in an organization, you may not be able to do well in an organization unless and until you have the personal skill, you gain experience, you use your own ability and your creativity and practice to apply this knowledge to achieve organizational goals. Okay, so that's that. Then let's come to features of management. What do you mean by features of management? Like, for example, if we are defining management, we also need to understand, since it is a concept, It is not something solid. It is not something which we can look at and, like a person, we can look at a person and tell, this person is so much tall, or this much, is features are like this. So we need to, since it's a concept, and a concept which is actually very misunderstood also by people, we need to actually define different aspects of management. So one, we've already covered the first one. Are you able to see this, features of management? Learners?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma.
Yes.
Okay, right. So, and am I going fast, or do we have a problem? Anyone has a problem with the way I'm, with how fast I'm going or how slow I'm going?
No, all good, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay. So we've already covered goal oriented, in the sense that we said that, when you're trying to achieve organizational goals, you use the process of management. So the first feature of management is it is goal oriented. All the activities in an organization, when an organization is formed, it is formed for for achieving some organizational goal, for some purpose. No organization is formed, whether it's a business organization or whether it's a non-government organization or it's an institution, whatever, they have their own purpose. So when all the activities in the organization are aligned to achieving that goal or purpose, for that you need management. So management is goal oriented. Now goals could be a variety of goals, because an organization has its own goals, which could be, that's there on your screen: survival, profit, or growth. Any organization, if they need to survive, they need to organize, they need to, align all their activities to a lot of things. They will need to align their activities to the environment, to the states existing there, to the people that they have, a lot of things. So organizations basically want survival, profit, or growth. Management is useful. They also have social goals for which management is useful. And they also need to satisfy personal goals of individuals, right? So, like individuals, when we're talking of individuals are the employees. If we're talking of within the organization, and they are the most important resource. So they need to be kept satisfied and motivated so that they contribute to the organization. And unless and until we are able, the managers or the organizational heads or the owners of the organization are able to align their personal goals with the goals of the organization, they will not work. In the sense that you want people to work hard, you want people to actually put in their best, but you are not giving them what they expect. You're not giving them security, you're not giving them proper salaries, you're not giving them training. They don't have any personal satisfaction or job satisfaction in the organization, so that doesn't go. Right? So goal oriented could be, when we're talking of management is goal oriented, so management is goal oriented for all people, not just for the organization. Okay. Second, we already said it's a process. Management is a process. What is the organization all about? It is about starting a business, doing something, that's a decision, right? Then they obtain means as far as capital is concerned, anything else, whatever is needed in the organization. Then they employ people. Then they, achieve those goals or purpose, and then they evaluate whether they've been able to do it, like they wanted to do it, that kind of a thing. So it's a process. Management is involved from the beginning to the end of the process. Third feature is social process. Now, what is social? There are two aspects to the social thing. One is, we've already discussed, that employees or human beings are an integral part of the organization. So they have to be, directed, coordinated, and regulated by the management. And since they are human beings, you have to, you're dealing with people, so it's a social thing. Secondly, management also has social obligations. Some of them might be defined by the organization itself, or by the government, or by any of the regulatory authorities, or some of them might be unstated, and kind of the CSR activity, which is not compulsory. Many organizations are actually into social causes. So management is again has a social angle to it. Okay? Human factor is inseparable because we are working with people and we're working for the people. So, 3 features over here: goal-oriented, process, and social process. Group activity. Why? Because teams are involved, people are involved. You cannot give separate tasks to everyone and then tell them not to coordinate and not to interact with each other and think that the organization will achieve its goals. No, people have to be interacting with each other. They need each other's support, coordination, and cooperation. Only then management is successful, organization is successful. Distinct entity, in the sense that there are a lot many activities going on in the organization. There's production going on, there's sales going on, there are finance functions going on. In all these areas of work, the management angle is different. The work of a manager is different. It's quite possible that someone is doing is actually a supervisor, is actually running a machine, but he might also, that is a functional production thing that he's doing, but he might also be supervising and looking at or looking after the other workers in the organization. So the management function is different from the other functions. It has specific tasks. It is all pervasive. This you already know. It is present everywhere in all organizations, all industries. Wherever you go, you find management. The concept of management you're able to see, but then it is not possible. You might say that no, everywhere you don't see good things going on. You don't see smooth functioning everywhere. It's not possible. So I would add here that though management is all pervasive, it is a relative term, in the sense that in some places you might feel that things are being managed smoothly, they are going well, everything is perfect. There, management is there, right? And in a similar organization, you might feel that there are various problems, and you feel that nothing is perfect over here. There is management, but to offer lesser degree. So any organization can definitely, because if they are wanting to achieve, if they are achieving objectives, if they are working, if they're some activities are going on in the organization, definitely they have some element of management. But not all organizations are great as far as managing their activities are concerned. So that is why we see a lot of successful organizations and a lot of unsuccessful organizations in the same industry. So that is that. Next, it is multidimensional. Multidimensional mean that we are talking of people, we are talking of processes, we are talking of priorities, work, time, space, anything, whatever is required, whatever needs to be employed to achieve organizational objectives has to be managed. Okay? It is a continuous effort, because definitely you cannot expect that 1 month, in the month of January, you're working very hard to organize everything, and you told everyone their tasks and they give them targets and all that, and February onwards for the next 6 months you're not looking at them. That can't happen. If you want to be achieving organizational objectives, you have to be constantly making efforts. Okay? It is intangible. It's again the same kind of a thing, that you may see proper management in some place where there is orderliness, where there is coordination between activities, and also you can also look at various other parameters, criteria. Like for example, if there are customer complaints, too many customer complaints in a particular sector, in a particular department, means that there is some kind of gap over there. The management function is not working very well over there. And similarly, if you feel and if you find out that there are, smooth functioning going on, definitely there is proper management going on over there. Okay? There are 3 more features of management. I think we'll have to go a little fast, because 3 more features. Dynamic. Now that word is very good. We are today working in an ever-changing environment. Laws are changing, technology is changing, competition is changing, political factors are there. attitudes are changing, customers are changing, people are changing, everything's changing. So when everything's changing, the organization or the managerial function needs to be proactive. Only then, because if we try to apply the principles which were working 5 years back, they would not be working today. Okay, so management is dynamic in the current times. Composite, again, there are various functions which are composite. They are interlinked, they are iterative in the sense that, sorry, yeah? Go ahead. You had a question? Hello? You have a question? Nona? Are you able to hear me? The rest of the people?
No question, madam.
Yeah. When
I'll be able to hear you, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Okay, good enough. And when I ask a question,
Very
please respond
audible.
fast because
No question, ma. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So when we're talking of iterative and interdependent, we're saying that there are a lot of functions, a lot of activities happening in management, and it's a process, we already defined that. But then by iterative, we mean to say that you might plan something today, you might plan to achieve certain objectives, achieve a target of a particular amount of 10 billion sales in the next 1 year. But then and you made elaborate plans to do that, and you allocated resources and all that. But 6 months from today, and you finished your planning, and then you're doing the rest of the work. But 6 months from today, you might feel that you need to come back to the planning because your planning was in some way lacking. So that is what we mean by iterative. So when we have a lot of functions and activities in management, it's not necessary that once you do it, you're not able, you won't be able to, you won't have to do it again. So you might have to do it again. So that is what we mean by iterative. And we've already discussed efficiency and effectiveness, but this point I wanted to bring here because you need to have a balance between efficiency and effectiveness. When we defined efficiency and effectiveness, we said that we are talking of optimal utilization of resources. It means efficiency. And effectiveness is when you are able to achieve your objectives. But sometimes what happens is you set a target to achieve a particular number of sales, maybe. But with the kind of people you had, you did not use them properly. Because if you'd used them properly, you might have achieved more than what you have actually targeted. So efficiency and effectiveness both needs to be balanced. You might be very efficient, but you are not effective. That means that your people are working very hard day in and day out, but they are not able to achieve the target or achieve the objectives. So where is the mistake then? You need to really analyze. Are they being utilized properly? Or are they overburdened? Or do you need more people to actually get into the picture? So all those things are there. So you have to have a balance between efficiency and effectiveness. Okay. Now let's come to the next topic, which is importance of management. Now, excuse me, give me a second. A lot of these things are already evident from the discussion that we had. Why do we need management? Why is it so important? It is important because if we do not apply the basic principles of management, we might not be able to run the organization smoothly, and we might not be able to actually do what we want to do. So if you define what we want to do, what we want to achieve in a variety of points, then we can say that if we need to survive, if we want to survive in the competitive environment, we need to be good management people. If we want to achieve our objectives, we need to be utilizing managerial staff properly. If we want to utilize our resources fully. Again, optimum. You should remember that word, optimum. Then we need to actually put in the process of management in working. If we want efficient and smooth functioning, management comes into picture. It also helps us adapt to changing environment, because it is talking of proactiveness. It is talking of, taking the whole organization together and understanding what is going on in the environment, and then able to tweak or modify our approach to the changing needs of the environment. It helps us resolve problems. It guides and controls. This is all regular stuff. Yes, provides competitive advantage. Now, what do you mean by competitive advantage? Competitive advantage, you would know that in any particular given business, there are a lot of players. There is competition. That is called competition. Same people providing, offering the same kind of product to the consumer. Now, any product may be better than the rest of the competitive players in the market because of certain parameters. Possibly their product might be very good, or their packaging might be very good, or their product is very good. It has it offers what it is kind of giving the benefit which the consumers want. So anything can give you a competitive advantage. So management also can give you a competitive advantage. How? Because if you are very organized, if you are able to keep all the processes under control, if you are able to run everything smoothly without any problem, and you are able to tackle all problems whenever they come, within a very short span of time, and you are able to react, and you're proactive, and you are able to respond to these things before the competitors do, you have a competitive advantage. So competitive advantage can come through a variety of means, but management obviously is a very important precursor to it. Okay, it provides stability and strength, and obviously when people in the organization are following the principles of management, they are trained, they get training, and they are able to become better individuals, better organizational workers. Okay, now it's when you're talking of importance. Hold on. Hold on. Something wrong here. Good. Okay, when you're talking of importance, we can also talk of the various challenges that are there for now, for an organization to achieve what it wants to achieve. Given the recent changes of globalization, liberalization, and privatization, there are a whole lot of global influences. There's a whole lot of competition. There's a whole lot of guidelines to be followed, which have come into play, and that is a big challenge for organizations. They need to adapt to all those challenges. Okay, like if we even look at the current climate change scenario, there are a lot of regulations in all countries which are coming up for environmental causes. So that again, that can be a good example of a challenge which the management needs to address. A lot of unregulated markets are becoming regulated. A lot of regulatory bodies are coming into play. That also is a big challenge as far as management is concerned. If it was unregulated, there were no rules and regulations. Again, the example of a anti-pollution or pollution related environmental laws are concerned. Again, we're talking because countries like ours, they have, which can't be called developed. We have to now align our activities with the new regulations that have come in, right? A very important factor, changing consumers. In every country, consumers, because of globalization and international exposure through a variety of ways, consumers are becoming more informed. They are becoming more smarter, and they're becoming, and as a result, they are becoming more demanding because they know what is being offered elsewhere. They know what is, they are more informed. They know what is, what better can be given to them. So again, that's a challenge. Growing competition again. There were fewer players in the marketplaces earlier who followed the rules of the game. Now it is cutthroat competition. People want to win over consumers at any cost. We've all seen examples of technological advancements. New technology coming in, we have to adopt the new technology. We have to train our people to actually utilize, get used to the new technology. Again, when new technology comes in, people need to be, either they need to be laid off or they need to be trained for that. All those things are there. Workforce diversity, again, a lot of people coming in from a variety of backgrounds, that needs to be handled because management is basically about managing people. So that's a challenge. Okay, let's come to like unit 2 and talk of management and its evolution. As I said earlier, that management is not that, is a fairly recent field, fairly recent field of study, and it has evolved over the last 200 years. So let us look at the history of evolution and understand exactly what was the focus of management science earlier and what is the focus now. Okay, the history of management or the evolution of management thought can be basically divided into 4 basic approaches. The classical management approaches, wherein there are a couple of studies. There are more studies, but we are only focusing on the more, relevant and the more studied theories whose contribution is more than the other theories. So the classical management approach basically has 4 studies, which is scientific management theory. We'll go through them in detail. So I'm just listing them out here. The second approach is human relations approach. Third is behavioral approach. Fourth is modern approaches to management. Now, before we go ahead with the scientific management theory, I'd like to tell you that since these theories have evolved over the last 200 years, the earlier studies, which is the classical management approaches, were basically only concerned about productivity and efficiency of people. Why? Because as the history of management studies has evolved, we have also evolved as people. Around that time, when the scientific management theory and the administrative management theory came in to picture, it was somewhere around the early 20th century, whenever the industrial revolution happened. So around that time, the condition of the workers was not that good. They were, today, if you look at people working in the IT sector, they can work from home, they can take leaves, they can have a variety of benefits, and they can even compare organizations. They have choice, where they want to work, what is their priority. Do they want to focus on their personal lives, or do they want to focus on their professional lives? All these choices were not there earlier. So when we are talking of the classical management approaches, around that time, the workers' well-being or welfare was not taken into account, right? From there on, we moved ahead to the human relations approach, where they got to find out. The studies that were conducted there were, they kind of brought to the fore the fact that people are also important in an organization. Behavioral approach went a little further on, and then modern approaches to management basically integrated the earlier approaches to management. Okay, so let's run through very fast to the next theories. The first theory in the classical management approach is the scientific management theory, which was proposed by Frederick Winslow Taylor, right? As I said, this was the first time that they talked about, systematizing some kind of management activities to some extent, right? So F.W. Taylor basically proposed certain principles of scientific management, and he also proposed certain techniques of scientific management, which, if applied in an organization would lead to better productivity or efficiency of people. Okay? So the principles that he basically proposed were, he said that development of science should replace the rule of thumb. Some kind of systematic study should be done, or systematic working should be done to, replace the individual efforts or in individual thinking patterns that people followed. Okay. Second principle was scientific selection of workers. He said that there needs to be some kind of a selection methodology in selecting skilled workers and then segregating them according to their skills, according to the abilities that they have. Then third principle was, you have to bring science and scientifically selected workers together and train them so that they're able to put in good efforts. They're able to, you're able to increase their efficiency. And the third and another principle that he proposed was, you need to create an environment of cooperation, and you need to divide work amongst the variety of people that we have in the organization for them to give you better results, more productive. Okay. Based on these principles, he proposed certain techniques. One was functional foremanship. Before Taylor's work, people used to plan their own work and they used to do their own work. They used to come into the shop floor, pick up their tools, start working, as simple as that. But F.W. Taylor separated the work of planning and doing. So there were people, foremen, who used to plan work, and there were workers who used to work. So they needed to be directed by the foreman. Okay, so that way this work became a little organized. So there's a third technique also which says the same thing: division between thinking and doing. Different people doing different kind of work. Some people planning and some people only working. Right. So it gave them a expertise in the particular area, and then led to increase in efficiency and productivity of the organization. Another technique that he proposed was differential piece rate system. In the sense, people who did more work, who were able to actually bring in more output, they would be given a different rate as far as salary is concerned, and people who were not that efficient would be given a different salary. So this way, people would maybe become better motivated to work, increase their efficiency and productivity. We also talked of standardization, so that there has to be a standard in the working place. People, similar materials should be provided, similar standard procedures should be adopted by everyone, so that the whole work is similar inside, and you're able to achieve better results. Technique was mental revolution. It was the first time someone, obviously people were, before Taylor and before Fayol, there were other people also who were working to improve the productivity and the efficiency of the workers. But it was the first time that Frederick Winslow Taylor said that you need to have a mental revolution, in the sense there should be harmony between the workers and the management. The management should not view the workers just as slaves. They should cooperate, help them out, and take their help in achieving the organizational objective. Similarly, workers should also not view management as someone who's there to torture them, but there should be mutual consent, mutual harmony between the workers and the management. Okay, that was the scientific management theory. Let's come to the administrative management theory. Again, it was Henry Fayol was a contemporary of F.W. Taylor, and they were working around the same period of time. Henry Fayol was in France, and F.W. Taylor was in Germany, as far as I remember. So their work is somewhat similar to each other. Henry Fayol first identified activities in an organization. This was the first time he organized an organization and tried to segregate the activities into different departments. So that there were technical, communication activities, finance and security activities. That's a separate thing. I got actually clubbed into one. So financial is different and security is different. Then we have accounting activities and mental activities. Mental is conceptual. And the most important work of Henry Fayol is the 14 Principles of Management, right? We need to, give me a second, please. Let's look at all the 14 principles one by one and have a small brief discussion on the different principles. Like Taylor, the first principle is division of work. This is the first time that someone said that you need to divide work to create expertise. People who do, different kinds of work altogether would possibly not develop expertise. But if people are, given specific tasks and they do it over a period of time, they would develop expertise and hence reduce the cost. Authority and responsibility, that's the second one. Now, what is authority and what is responsibility? I think most of you, let me have some input from you guys so that you don't sleep off. Hello, learners.
Yes, ma'am.
Can someone define authority? Let's have a, be comfortable. Can someone define authority?
Ma, please, can you repeat the question?
What is authority? Can you see it on the screen? The second point. Can you define that? Can you, in the sense, explain what is authority and what is responsibility? What is the difference?
Ma'am, authority is like if someone has authority, it means that he has a kind of a power to
Yes.
give orders or take a decision.
Yes.
That's authority.
Okay.
And responsibility means that whatever action he's doing, so he has to be accountable for whatever he is undertaking. One is his duty, responsibility is duty, and when he acts upon his duty, he has to be accountable to his actions, for his actions.
Okay, good enough. So authority and responsibility, explained very well. Authority is the power to give orders and exact obedience. And responsibility is accountability for a particular task or work, right? According to Fayol, authority and responsibility go together. You cannot give someone the authority and not hold that person responsible for a particular task. And you cannot give responsibility to a person and then expect them not give them authority over people who are supposed to work for that particular activity. Got it? So that was the principle. The second principle, which said that authority and responsibility go together, and you need to ensure. And I'll tell you one thing: even today, in some organizations, you can see that authority does not, responsibility does not go with authority. Your boss might have the authority, and he might not give you delegate the authority to you to get some work done. It becomes very difficult. The 14 principles of Henry Fayol, they are relevant even today. Just imagine, 200 years from now, whatever was proposed in the 14 principles of management, that can be seen today even. Okay, discipline. That we all know, discipline is very much required. You need to do the right thing. You need to be doing what you're supposed to do. That is discipline. Unity of command and unity of direction. Unity of command means that every individual or subordinate in an organization should be given order only by one person. You cannot have a structure where someone is given orders by more than one person. That would create confusion, that would create conflict in the organization. Again, as I said, there can be a lot of organizations even today where this is violated. This particular principle is violated. You might not know, So anyone who is responsible might not know that this is happening, but it happens sometimes. Unity of direction means that every individual working in an organization should be able to understand what is the organization goal, what is the benefit of what is going to benefit the organization. and what is going to go against the organization, what all actions he's supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. That is unity of direction. He should know every individual, the gatekeeper in the organization, anyone who's at the parking lot, they also should know the philosophy of the organization and understand what is the philosophy of the organization. Only then there would be smooth functioning. Otherwise there would be complaints and conflicts. Subordination of individual interest to general interest means that I might want to earn money, but I might go in and try to earn money in a manner in which my organization's image suffers. Okay? So subordination of individual interest to general interest. I might not like to do a particular kind of activity, or I might not want to meet a particular individual, or cooperate with a particular individual, or coordinate with a particular individual. But if that is not in the interest of the organization, I have to change myself. So subordination of individual interest to general interest means that the objective of the organization is supreme, and any other objective, any other individual objective needs to be modified to align with the general interest. Remuneration of personnel. Fayol for the first time said that when people work, they need to be paid in order of that. So person who is a good worker should be paid better, and person who is not that good should maybe his remuneration should be different from the person who's working uh, more efficiently and effectively. Centralization means the concentration of power in the organizations. So when the organizations are small, there is a centralization of power with the person who's formed the organization, and slowly that centralization uh, is diluted, and that person gives power and authority to other people in the organization so that they can take decisions according to the need, according to a particular situation. So according to Henry Fayol, centralization and decentralization is the opposite of centralization, and which comes when the authority is delegated to other people in the organization, juniors in the organization. There should be a balance of centralization and decentralization. Certain activities need centralization, certain activities need decentralization. So if there is a customer complaint, or if there's an issue in the field, and if you say that and maybe the customer is asking for a 10% discount, and the salesperson, if he does not have the authority to take a decision then and there, he might lose a customer. He might go make a call to the MD or XYZ person, or his boss, and then wait for one day to identify whether we can give. During that time, the customer will be lost. So there has to be a balance between centralization and decentralization. The organization needs to identify what areas to decentralize and what areas to centralize. Scalar chain means we've got half an hour left, right? Okay. Scalar chain means there's a chain of authority flowing, communication flowing in the organization that needs to be maintained, that needs to be actually defined, and that needs to be maintained, because there has to be a system for that, because people need to know with whom they need to communicate, what information should go where, and it should go in the manner which has been defined, rather than just giving that information or just giving that uh, communication to any XYZ person. So if it goes systematically through the proper channels, it will have the desired results. Order. What is order? There's a small statement which says a place for everything and everything in its place. A place for everyone and everyone in his place. That means in an organization, you need to define where you are going to find certain things, and they need to be there. You cannot just change their places every now and then. People need to know their places. They need to, be available in their places, so that whenever something comes up, they are able to deal with it. Equity is dealing with people with fairness and equity, and giving them the same treatment. Everyone should be given the same treatment. Stability of tenure. Again, if you want people to perform, you need to give them some time to adjust, adapt to the organization, and then perform. You cannot give them lesser time and then expect them to perform and achieve their objectives. Okay, so that is what is meant by stability of tenure. They need to be assured, they need to be confident that they are going to be there for a particular time, uh, so that they're able to do their best. If they're always kind of thinking that, look, I might lose my job tomorrow, or I might not be able to be there, I'm not, it becomes difficult for people to work. They feel insecure. Initiative. Again, initiative is something which is, it's a normal English word, which means that people should be encouraged to come forward and help in problem solving, help in finding solutions, help in doing creative things for the organization. They should feel free to actually use their creativity for the betterment of the organization, and the achievement of the organizational goals. The 14th last principle is Asperity Corps, which is, as the scientific management mental revolution is, there's both similar concepts. Asperity Corps means people, unity of people. The workers and management and everyone in the organization should be in a state of harmony. There should be no conflicts. The environment should be like that, which is, people should be cooperative with each other and not in conflict with each other. So it is the job of the management, it is the job of the management function to ensure that there is a spirited corps in the organization. Okay, I think we'll have to run through fast to complete this in time. So the bureaucratic theory of management, again, is a classical theory by Max Weber, and he worked on the similar lines, which is like job specialization. Again, the same thing, we're talking of expertise development. Hierarchy is again like the scalar chain, which means that there has to be a defined hierarchy, that who's reporting to whom, who's got authority, and who's under whom, that kind of a thing. Formal selection again would mean selection in terms of skills, and then placing them in that in those jobs. Formal rules and regulations to help with the organization so that there is no confusion and people know what they're supposed to do. Impersonality is objectivity, where you're not aligned or biased or partial towards someone. Career orientation is again helping people achieve what they want to achieve in their careers. That's what Max Weber's contribution was. Human relations approach is, again, those were the classical approaches, right? Where we said that they were very focused only on the productivity and efficiency of people, and they were only concerned about achieving the organizational goals. Now, there was this experiment, the human relations approach. It was a by chance thing, actually, and it was proposed on the basis of the experiments conducted in the General Electric plant in Hawthorne, and they're also known as the Hawthorne experiments. These experiments were actually conducted to analyze the impact of various physical factors and working conditions on the productivity of workers, where they wanted to increase the productivity of workers by making certain changes in the lighting conditions or the lunch timings and stuff like that. But they ended up drawing attention to the human factors that improve the efficiency of workers. If you get the time, because do a little reading on the Hawthorne experiments, I'll just give you a brief. There were these girls who were in a particular assembly line. They were picked as part of the experiment where these factors were studied on them. But when these changes, when the different factors, the reducing of the working timings, the lunch times, and other benefits, when they were taken away and when they were withdrawn, these girls continued to work with the efficiency, with increased efficiency, which had happened during the experiment. So to explain those things, that why did these girls who were a part of the experiment did not go back to their earlier productivity, this approach was proposed. Okay, learnings from the study, they said that these girls did not go back to the earlier lower productivity levels because they got special recognition. So the learning was that special recognition can improve the efficiency of people. Productivity is not just a technical phenomenon. and workers' attitude. And there was another thing which happened. These girls became very close, they became friends, and they were in it together. So they kind of, helped and coordinated with each other, and they helped each other in improving the efficiency. So the study proposed that workers' attitude towards work, their mates and supervisors governs their productivity. It is not just the physical factors, it is not just the working conditions, in the sense, the physical working conditions that, improve the productivity of people. If there is a proper environment in the organization, then also the productivity of workers can be increased. Fellowship and respect, they are also important factors. So this is what the human relations approach uh, proposes, that human beings need to be treated with respect. They need to be given recognition for what they achieve. They need to be given freedom in the organization. Then they would reach their highest level of productivity. Okay. Other significant contributions were by Robert Owen, who believed that man is molded by education, and he was given a factory by his father-in-law, where it was in the red. It was not making profits. It was in fact in loss, and he applied all those human factor uh, studies there, and then he was able to make a profit there. It is turnaround. Actually, the spelling is wrong. Turnaround. Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy theory is a very interesting theory. We will do it in detail when we are doing motivation, but let me talk in brief over here. There are two things. There is a hierarchy of needs. If one need is unsatisfied, if then we are working to fulfill those needs. But if those needs are fulfilled, we keep on looking for other needs. So our needs keep on changing, and these levels, when if one level is fulfilled, we look for something else. If we are physiologically safe, we have food, water, and we have a roof over our heads, we would want security and safety and insurance. If that is complete, if we get security and we have a stable job, and our physiological needs are also, we would look for love and affection. We would possibly want friends and those kind of things. Then once that is also satisfied, we would look for esteem in the organization. We would look for a good post. We would be motivated by a good designation, right? And when all that is complete, at the end of the day, we would start thinking of what am I actually achieving? Am I achieving something? Am I giving to the society? Those kind of things. Those kind of needs come into play. So Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy theory is a very interesting theory. We can possibly do it in detail later on. That's again an important contribution to the field of management. Modern approaches to management basically, as I said, that earlier on we were focused on productivity and efficiency. Then later on we came to know that human factor is also important. Then behavioral aspects we talked of. So all these, the growth of concept ultimately led to modern approaches, wherein a lot of people tried to integrate the earlier work and then propose certain theories. So one such theory is the systems approach, which says that organization is a system. What is a system? Now, we know a system is a lot of interdependent parts linked together. Like our watch is a system, our mobile phones is a system. An organization is an open social system where there are a lot of players, a lot of activities going on, but they are all interrelated. And it is a social system also because we are also linked to the outside, the environment, and we take people from the environment. So it is a live system, and it has to be looked at like that only. It is formed of interdependent parts performing different functions. There are tasks, people, structure, technology, other things. All these are interlinked and form a unitary whole. And if we need to be successful, if we want to achieve our organizational goals, we have to pay attention to each and every interdependent part in the organization because they are all connected. We cannot be, paying attention to the whole organization and leave one part unattended. If that is there, the whole organizational efficiency will suffer. Okay. The second approach is contingency approach, which says that there is no one best way of doing things. whatever theories you learn, whatever, approaches you've read, whatever science you've studied, it is not possible for you to know everything. And you have to be prepared for contingencies. And when contingencies arrive, you have to look at them on a case to case basis. Somewhere you'll have to pay attention to the human aspect, somewhere you'll have to pay attention to some other aspect. So a manager has to be ready for this. That's what the contingency approach says. So gives us that completes the evolution of management studies. And now let's come to the third unit, which is roles of managers. Now we get a fair amount of idea as to what all roles a manager is supposed to do with the kind of discussions that we've had earlier during the counseling session. But let us look at these roles one by one. Okay. Now, since managers, or the people who are a part of the management, they are running the organization, they are supposed to do a lot of activities. They are supposed to actually take up a lot of roles. I would say that since they are leaders in the organization, people look up to them for whatever guide, if they need guidance, if they need support, if they are in confusion. So managers need to be playing a very important role in the organization. Now, when we say managers, it could be supervisor level, it could be the CEO level, it could be any level, it could be any person who's actually providing the kind of services that a management person needs to provide. Okay? So there are basically three types of roles which a manager needs to take up. Interpersonal roles. Interpersonal is between people. So one is figurehead because he's the leader, he's the person to whom people look up to. People emulate what he's doing, what he or she is doing. So he's a figurehead. He has to play the role of a idol in the organization. So if he's curt, if he's not good with the customers, obviously his staff will not be good with people. If he has good communication skills, if he's leading from the front, definitely people will appreciate, and he would be in a position to, he would be motivating others to do the same. Okay, so he is a figurehead, he is a leader. Leader has to lead from the front. A leader has to set a good example in a variety of areas. Okay, thirdly, he has to liaison with people. He needs to know how to deal with government officials. He should know, he should be able to mold his way of talking, his approach whenever a simple person comes in, maybe with a customer complaint, a simple customer complaint, right? He should also know how to deal with any regulatory bodies. He should know how to do PR for the organization and create a good impression, and create a good image of the organization. All those roles are there as far as interpersonal roles are concerned. Informational roles, he needs to monitor what information comes in and what information goes out of the organization. He's a gatekeeper of the organization. He needs to ensure that he might not be holding all information, but he is in a position to ensure that people do not spread, or maybe a false information or some kind of information which is sensitive is not leaked from the organization. He is also, as far as informational roles are concerned, he should also disseminate information to the relevant people at the right time. So if there's some research which has come in about new R&D by some organization, then he should be able to, it's his job to actually give that information to the people who are concerned, in time so that action is taken. As far as environmental factors are concerned, if something happens in the environment, some changes happen in the environment, that needs to be disseminated to the right people in the organization, that he also needs to know. Secondly, as a spokesperson, as I said already, as a spokesperson, he needs to be creating a very good image of the organization in front of people. He might be required to speak in public gatherings. He might be required to speak in meetings. He might be required to speak to the seniors. He might be required to speak to the juniors. So he should know exactly what and how to speak, and what information to share and what information to not share. Third kind of role that they have to play is decisional role. As an entrepreneur, he needs to know where to put in what money. If he's got some capital or some thing at his disposal, some organizational asset to his disposal, he should be very clear in how much to spend where. Budgeting is his job. Allocating resources is his job. Allocating people to different departments and to different tasks is his job. All those things are his job. He's also a disturbance handler. If there's an unforeseen circumstance in the organization, it could be caused by the employee, it could be caused by someone else, it could be caused by some association, or maybe we have these civil societies. Anyone, he should be in a position. He should know how to tackle these problems and handle those disturbances. Resource allocator, we've already talked of. He's also a negotiator for anything. He might need to negotiate with customers. He might need to negotiate with. He might need to negotiate salaries of employees. All those things. So these are the various roles that managers are. Some of the roles, maybe there could be other roles also, which is not there. It's not an all comprehensive list, and these are some of the roles that a manager is supposed to take up for the organization, for the service of the organization. So that brings us to the end of the third unit, and I think I have, met my target, because I was wondering if we'll be able to finish off in time or whether we'll be able to cover all the content. But I think I've been satisfactorily covering that. Now we've got just 5 minutes, 10 minutes left. I think I'll stop sharing this with you, and we can possibly unmute and take up some queries if we have. And if it is convenient, you can switch on your camera so that I am familiar with my learners' faces, and though I might take some time to remember, but I would like to see you. So I'm turning on my camera, and you can put in any queries that you have. If you want to switch on your cameras, we can have that also. Hello. Okay, I see a lot of names over here. So maybe I want to.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm
Good
Vasan
evening.
from Mauritius. Thank you very much
Okay, good.
for the session today.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. I would want you to tomorrow morning, when we meet tomorrow, or maybe if today, I would like to have a clear feedback on what exactly was the class like, so that, as I said, this is my first class with Vidya Bharati. In fact, with IGNOU, this is my first class, and I have these technical problems because I'm not very well versed with using the presentations on Google Meet. So I would have some improvement tomorrow, but then I would need some feedback from you guys, and so that we are able to
I think it was a good session, except for the technical glitches. That's okay. That's okay. Perfectly understandable. But I think it was a very good session, and I think it will be even better tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you very much, ma'am. Much appreciated.
thank you. Vasant. Maybe the rest of the students, like the learners, should we call off now, or do we have any queries here? Do we have any queries? I think a lot of people are
Wonderful.
having network issues.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very interesting session and we really enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, very elaborate. I must say I followed you through.
Okay. I would like to. I wouldn't like to have compliments. I'd like to have some questions, if you don't mind. Certain queries which will help us improve. But that obviously your observations are welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other queries you have? Do you have any other questions or anything which is related to the content of the session?
No, I think there is no question.
That is what I am also saying, that I think there is no questions. And
Okay.
if you want, we can end up this meeting. And you need to first stop recording
Okay.
from
That's
that process again.
okay.
I don't know why I'm not able to do recording through my phone. When I'm using my phone, I'm not able to record it.